What up? T-Bob here.
And Jake as well.
And look at you. You done stumbled upon little OTB Saints, where we bring you all the latest black and gold coverage.
Who are the Saints going to draft? Who's going to be their quarterback? What does the salary cap look like? All that information and more.
Hope you enjoy it. Like, subscribe. Taylor seems to have gotten the chat going with his Cowboys to Nickelback comparison. Look, I do feel you. It is cruel to hate on these things. I think for me personally, it's easy to see why I hate the Cowboys. I mean, not only do you directly compete with them, but they used to win back in the day. It means that if you're my age, I was born in '89, you know a lot of people who are diehard Cowboys fans, either because they watched them win as a child, maybe their parent did, they were raised that way, and they continue to still think about the Cowboys in that way, but they're not that way anymore and have not been since the early 90s. So to me, the false sense of entitlement, the overconfidence, the fact that and this is not even necessarily even the Cowboys' fault. In fact, this is something to their credit, Taylor. In the same way that, Mario, you sit here and you get triggered. Look at this. Look at what's on the screen right now. Why is this on the screen? Lakers offseason decisions. Why are they randomly talking about Lakers right now, right? Okay. They do the same thing with the Cowboys. Yesterday, Taylor, what made you angry?
My God, Mario, you would have lost your mind. Yesterday, when the show was over, me and T-Bob were in here, and they were comparing who had a better career, LeBron James or Tom Brady. Why?
Aye.
But here's the deal. We're the marks, guys. We're the marks. Okay. We are dancing to their tune. When you get mad and you hate watch, you are doing that. When I get mad about the Cowboys and I hate watch, I'm doing that. You with the Lakers. So they're doing it. Nothing they're doing is by accident. It's like when these corporations do something and people get mad at them or happy with them. It's like, guys, they're not doing it because they think it's good or bad from a moral or ethical standpoint. They're trying to make money.
Yeah. And
they have analytics and the most advanced amounts of data that tells them how to make that money. And they know if they talk Lakers, and I see this a little bit in snaps, where sometimes, like right now, bro, if you talk about Colorado and Coach Prime, you do numbers. It is insane. Which really speaks to Coach Prime, which, by the way, do we talk about how he might have to have his foot amputated?
Oh, so apparently he's not.
I know he's not. But going into this surgery to straighten his toes, they basically told him, look, one of the risks that you could run here, this thing could cascade. If we go in there and operate again, and who knows, you may end up losing a foot. I mean, just absolute insanity. And who knows, he may be so good. Like maybe even the story about how he's not going to is just to kind of quiet down any concerns that people may have had. I don't know, but that speaks to Coach Prime though, because when has Colorado football ever moved the needle? Never. Except now you talk about them, it does numbers. Talk about Alabama, it does numbers. Ohio State, Michigan, Texas, right? Texas like the Lakers, they suck, and yet you have to talk about them. So this is just the game, boys.
I totally see your point, and a lot of people do, and maybe it's the fan in me, but everybody's like, well, I hate the Cowboys because they have so many bandwagon fans. T-Bob, I know not a single Cowboys fan outside of myself. Not one.
I don't.
Or at least they're not. Maybe they're one of those closet fans, but I don't know anyone.
No, okay, that's not as crazy as it sounds to me because you are a little bit younger.
I'm a generational thing. And that's what I'm saying. Like people your age, but people my age are like, well, I hate the Cowboys. I'm like, why? They're not rivals with the Saints. They never win anything. I guess people my age, I'm like, why?
No, exactly. That's like people coming up to me and saying I hate the Pelicans. Like Taylor's fandom of the Cowboys is not very different from my fandom of the Pelicans.
No, it's not.
Since '96, they've won 3 playoff games. I think the Pelicans, since they've existed, have won 2 playoff series. Like, Taylor didn't get to experience any of the good, but he still has to deal with all the remnants of the bad.
Correct.
And for that, I have a little bit of sympathy.
And then people, to your credit, they're like, oh, well, they always talk about the Cowboys on TV. Yeah, but it's never good. I mean, name me one other professional sports team that literally hosts. No,
they
listen.
win one game, and it's like, are they Super Bowl contenders?
Yeah, but they troll them half the time. Anyways, okay, every time, and I enjoy it. It is funny as hell. Stephen A. literally goes up there and wears a cowboy hat and trolls. Name me one other sports team they do that to.
Exactly, and that's because they're the big guy.
I enjoy it, but I just
the big guy.
I feel like they're like, well, they always cover them. I'm like, yeah, but it's. Also, I feel like it's rarely positive.
Mario, hilariously on brand. with what you did, where I feel you in that you and Taylor have both you have both loved teams that have not experienced winning, but to act like anybody cares about the Pelicans outside of the Pelicans market is the height of absurdity. The Pelicans might as well not be an NBA team to about 80% of NBA franchises. The only reason why they're talked about is because they've had 2 number 1 picks that they've arguably wasted. Like, those are the stories that touch it with the. It's not even Pelicans, it's Zion stories that get talked about in the national news. So I feel you. You've been a fan of a team that's been awful, and it's your favorite team. So you and Taylor are similar in that way. But you are not walking around dealing with the hate of people like, oh, I just can't stand those. I can't stand those damn New Orleans Pelicans.
You're right, but he's right there. Like, I take all the backlash without the winning, because it's like Mario said, like, people are like, who's your favorite NFL team? I'm like, the Cowboys. Of course they are, because they win.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the hell if they won?
Well,
I get disappointed every year. Like, leave me alone.
I guess it is a bit ironic because, like you said, to your age, everybody's your age grew up Saints fans because the Saints are winning, and the Saints are awesome. And so no longer were people from Louisiana driven west to Texas to go find a football team to cheer for, because they had one right here in the South, the Hall of Fame quarterback, Hall of Fame coach that was winning. And so, well, I don't know about Hall of Fame coach, we'll see. But probably not unless he wins another one. But yeah, so that actually, you're right. I do almost, but I'm not from that generation, you know. And my old man, it's funny, he doesn't hate any NFL team except for the Cowgirls. That's what I can't discount in a personal
level. Well, now, is that the reason, like a similar reason to you? Is that because I know?
Yeah, I was raised with hate. I was raised to hate that team.
No, I'm saying, but like your dad, the reason you just gave, is that his reason as well? Like the whole North Louisiana kind of shift into.
He used to hate it. He used to hate Louisiana people that cheered for the Cowboys. And just how, and he was having to play during the heyday, right? When they were winning all those championships, right? So he was having to square up with them and go toe to toe. I don't think he ever lost him except for the last game. Maybe.
Well, and a bigger problem with that is like they didn't have the channels, and Dallas was always on TV. Because it's funny, like my dad was born in Dallas. They moved to Alexandria, and he told me, he goes, it worked out perfectly. He goes, because Dallas was still the only team on TV that we even got.
Yeah.
He's like, and I grew up a Cowboys fan. He goes, but a lot of people that I lived with, he goes, they were converted because of that reason. He's like, what are you going to do on Sunday? You're going to watch the Cowboys.
And, I mean, who knows? Blackout rules are such a weird thing of the past, it feels like, too, where, like, you used to not be able to watch Saints games because not enough people bought tickets. What, like, odd, especially in the day and age of trying to put content in front of as many eyeballs as possible and making it as available as possible. How funny is it that we used to kind of finger wag at cities and say, you're not allowed. Like, you were just about not growing the brand. Like, you're not allowed to watch this team because not enough of you were willing to buy tickets. Hey, how about you win some games? Okay, make me want to buy a ticket.
Well said. I think for this conversation, what y'all are talking about, like North Louisiana people cheering for the Saints and not the Cowboys, 2006 was a big turning point. And I'll never forget that 2006 Sunday night game against the Cowboys, the birth of the Who Dat Nation. I know you know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
Since that point, the Saints have objectively just been a much better franchise. I know the Cowboys were what they were in the 90s, but for the sake of this conversation, during our lifetime, me and Taylor, the Saints have just been a much better franchise.
Now, Mar, a little while ago, did you want to defend your Pelicans, or I felt like you had something to add on to the Pelicans?
No, they're obviously covered very differently, but my point is, me and Taylor live kind of very similar existence as fans. Like, they haven't had very much success, and the people that are talking about it on a national stage normally don't know what the hell they're talking about. Me and Taylor have to suffer with it.
Well, yes, I would say, though, maybe with the Cowboys, they more do know what they're talking about, whereas I feel you. Like, some of the local dynamics of the Pelicans are a bit more, like, hidden.
It's sensationalized. It's like, what's going to make the Cowboys go to the Super Bowl? Probably nothing. What's going to make the Pelicans relocate? That's probably not going to happen.
So getting mad about that, though, as I've gotten older, because I feel you. I used to get, rail against these things, too. But, like, getting mad about that is, like, getting mad at the sun for coming up.
But it's tough. All our friends are casual sports fans. Like, not everybody is as, in it as we are. Like, we had to deal with that every day of our lives. I can't believe I'm comparing the Pelicans to the Cowboys.
No, you're right, though, because what he's saying in the media, it's like both of the teams we pull for stink about equally, but the national media makes the Pelicans look way worse than they are, and they make the Cowboys look way better than they are. Because of that, we suffer in different ways. I totally understand what he's saying. People are like, oh, well, we hate the Cowboys because they're always hyped up, or you're a Pelicans fan? I didn't even know they played basketball. It's like, I get what he's saying.
So what I would say to y'all is this, because you're not wrong in the sensationalized aspect, but I would challenge you, find me anything in the age of for-profit media, and we do it on this show, find me any coverage that isn't sensationalized. Find me the coverage on any topic, sports, politics, anything, where it's like, you know, the 1960s and it's two men sitting in, or women, whatever, sitting in leather-bound seats, smoking cigarettes and having like a calm conversation. It doesn't exist. It does not exist anymore. It's because not enough people wanted to watch it. And you can be mad about it, you can rail about it, you can complain about it all you want, but ultimately we lie in the bed that we made for ourselves. It's like people get mad about politicians. Why are they so extreme? Why can't they be? Because we vote that way. Because you act that way. Like, you get what you freaking deserve. Okay? And so over time, us as human beings, and this is not anything new. Go look at like the yellow journalism, you know, of like newspapers back in like teens and everything. Like, this is day one type of stuff here. Now, you know, stuff always goes in waves. And so maybe you've had times in society where you have had a more intellectually accepting society and it's been a bit more rational, a bit more calm, but certainly not in the internet age, and certainly not in the for-profit now cable television age. And so, yeah, find me any subject will be discussed on Get Up, First Take. Look at Mad Dog's face. Find me anything that will not be sensationalized.
Look at his face.
I love the Mad Dog concentration face. Sometimes I catch myself doing that too. If I'm like really tired, I'm zoning out, but I got to look like I'm very intense. You just kind of hollow your cheeks out a little bit and squint your eyes. It's like when Moscona does his TikToks, and he's always trying to hit you with those smoky eyes. They're like kind of like half closed for some reason.
Mad Dog looks like Droopy, the dog. That's so funny.
He looks great. If I look like Mad Dog Chris Russo at his age, I'll be a happy man. But yes, ESPN literally went to Mad Dog because they needed more sensationalism. Like, they were like, we have this incredible firework in Stephen A., and we need to pair him with one of the other GOATs, and here comes.
Man, there's a lot of great sports coverage out there that is closer to what you're describing, like more objective, you know?
No, those are called basketball podcasts.
Exactly.
And they're everywhere, and there's a million of them, and they have their market, but it ain't the national market.
Yeah, and it's a lot of effort to kind of find one you like, too.
I'm not saying that you can't find those guys. They exist in every single sport. There seems to be a overabundance of them in basketball for some reason, but and you can be very successful. You can have great shows, do like objectively really good shows, but that is always going to struggle to get on an ESPN. Wow, just amazing black and gold takes right there, Jake.
I don't think I've ever heard any takes that are better than the two guys that just gave you that take.
And you can keep getting them by going ahead and liking, subscribing, ringing the bell to get notifications when we post. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next OTB Saints.